We are on
Yeah,
live,
yeah,
right?
we are live.
Yeah.
We are live.
Oh, okay. Yes. So first of all, good morning, Jacob. Good morning.
Morning, morning, Krishna. Morning,
I
Krishna.
hope you're feeling well. Good.
Yeah, yeah, perfect.
Yes. Fine. So, I mean, we have been planning to do this for a very long time, and we have had a lot of sessions on this. And I'm very, very happy that we're finally doing this. And thank you so much for doing this with me. So, thank you, first of all.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you for taking time off to discuss my book. Thank
Oh,
you.
I mean, it's my pleasure. I mean, genuinely in awe of your writing. Now, I have and this is my first time doing it, so sorry if I mess up at times. Sorry for that. But I have a lot of questions to ask. A couple of those questions that I'll ask you here on YouTube right now. A lot of questions we have asked otherwise. Um, so my first question, it's not essentially a question, it's a doubt. It's a like I would love to know. I mean, when I think of you, when the world thinks of you, they think of you, and you are obviously a decorated army officer and now retired. So you've been Major General Jacob Taragan Chako to a wider audience. And when I think of such a man who finally retires, I would assume that because they've seen some of the harshest realities of life, I would assume that they would go into the quietness of the world when they finally retire. They would not want to get into chaos anymore, would not want the loud noises, anything of that sort. But that's not the man who's sitting opposite me. He has always been quite vociferous in his remarks, has always been an active social critic, and you've been a writer from the day I met you, or even before that. We have met 10 years, maybe we have known each other for almost a decade now. You've been writing even before that. So my first question, and which like I would love to know, is that what keeps you on with this writing? Why do you wish to write? Where does this energy come from?
See, when the unrest is within,
Mhm.
when the unrest is within, how do you take it out? The best medium is to write, share my thoughts. It's almost like a piece of catharsis. My
Mhm.
writing is always my commentary on some event, some people, some incident. So it's my sense of getting along with the unrest within me. So as long as I am not at peace within, I will write. So the day I'm at peace within, I will stop writing.
Oh, so hopefully you. I mean, it's so dark to say that. Oh, don't get
No,
into
no,
peace
no,
with
no.
it.
As long as I am alive to the
Mm.
surroundings, I would respond to the stimulus given by the surroundings, and therefore I will write.
Yes, and you've
When
been
I can't,
writing.
yeah, quite some time. When I don't see, when I can't hear, when I can't think, when I become a vegetable, I'll stop writing.
Okay, please don't stop writing. Yes, because you've been writing on like you're an active blogger. Yes, and you I think you're writing a novel as we are doing this interview. On the side, you're working on an interview as I mean, working on a novel as well, right? A
Yes,
biography,
yes,
not a
yeah.
biography.
That's my
Yeah.
fourth book. That's my fourth book
Yes.
in
So
the.
far, for the audience to know, I mean, he has written so far three books. So one is a poetry collection, which is Abandoned Divinity. The other one is Dare Dream Different. I got the title right. Yes. And the book that we're going to discuss today, which is The Second Bullet. Yes. So, I mean, amazing the diversity of genre. Like, who would ever think that one, like a retired officer would be a poet? I mean, it's amazing, and I'm a huge fan of the poet in you,
No, no,
genuinely,
there's
really.
nothing stopping a army man from being romantic, and I'm hopelessly in love with people and surroundings. I don't
Yeah,
want to get out. I love to be in love.
mhm. Yeah, I know that. Yes, we have established this. You are a hopeless romantic,
Yes,
hopelessly in love, and it's
I
wonderful to
hopelessly
see.
in love. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see that. Yes, and that brings me to the book because, as I said a minute ago, you are a decorated army officer. You were major general. So I'm pretty sure you've seen things in life which a lot of us haven't. So and you are a lifetime of stories. You have so many stories to say. And my question is, of all the stories, why was it important for you to come up with this storyline? And where does the inspiration come from?
Well, that's a very personal question, but let me try and answer it. If
Mhm.
you look at if you read the book, it is the story of the Colonel Adarsh, who, in the garb of helping somebody,
Mhm.
is trying to redeem himself in his own eyes for having failed himself when he was younger. So it was an attempt of the officer to redeem himself through a fight which he had abandoned early in life. So
Mhm.
I suppose it was a rediscovery of the man and his values.
Yes, and I think to the audience who might be new to the book, I just want to give them a glimpse of what the book is. So, if you look at it, it's a book, it's a story of a man who has been accused of murder, and the narrator Adarsh, Colonel Adarsh, not any simple guy, Colonel Adarsh, knows for a fact that he hasn't committed the crime. The accused hasn't committed the crime, and he's trying to fight for the rights of a man who's been wrongly accused, even when
Ac-
the whole world goes against him.
And actually, even Adarsh is not sure about the
Mm.
innocence.
Yeah.
But the sixth sense tells him that
So,
whether he's right or wrong is separate.
mm, mm,
But to stand up and fight for what he thinks is right is more important.
yes.
So it is quite till the end, nobody knows who is the murderer.
Mm,
Though this man who is falsely accused says, yes, I am the murderer, because
yes.
he finds no other way to get out.
Yeah.
So all the evidences are against him. People
Yeah.
have seen it. So then he himself believes that he is a murderer. So
Yeah.
that happens to all of us. When in the core of our heart we know that this is not true, but because everybody says this is what is the truth,
Yeah.
you tend to go along. So,
Mm,
in fact, all of us will end up fighting
mm,
finally against ourselves. So, the decision is to fight for yourself
mm.
or against yourself.
Yeah, I mean, which is true because if you think about it, we have spoken about this. Yes, it's a book on military life. The settings are different, and me as a common man, common person who comes from a different world, wouldn't know what's happening in it. So when I first started reading the book, my first thought to myself was, how would I ever understand a book that has nothing to do with my life, the world that I know? And then as I read it, I realized that it was not just another book on military life. So, and now you might, I don't know whether you would agree with this. For me, it's a very philosophically written book because it talks about how the perceptions are different from truths. The things that you see may not be the end of the story, the lot remaining in it, lot to understand. So, even as you rightly said once, there is nothing called an absolute truth, and to a point where you yourself would be affected by it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah. Truth is always, relational. What is true for me may be untrue for you.
Mhm,
So, we all see truth from our perspective. So,
mhm,
how the perspective changes is for us to decide. Now, what you hold as truth and how long you should stand by it is again a personal decision. So, in this book, to be honest, it is a rediscovery of the author in himself. It is a rediscovery of the protagonist in himself, and it is also about uh, raw, you know, uh, emotions
emotion.
of human being. It's not attributing it to philosophy is your magnanimity. I have put it at the raw base level of human emotions.
But I mean, there is a reason why I found that philosophical tone to it. One being what I just said. The other is that I remember reading somewhere in a book that there are no people who cannot be saved. There are only people who stop trying to save others. So when I look at this book, this if Vijender, the character, the accused, didn't have a man like Colonel Adarsh, what would have happened to his life? So it's what an absolute joy to have an Adarsh in your lives. I mean,
Actually, Krishna, if you look at the initial part of the book, the accused himself believes that he is guilty. The accused has given up. In fact, he has given up the choice to fight.
true.
So in our life, we give up so easily when it involves people who we love.
Mm,
When we know what you're doing is wrong. But over a period of time, we think that the untruth was the truth. and you go by it, and you
Yeah.
end up. Uh, that's the part of life. So I've seen it happening. So that's what the book is all about. What happens to others in the end is different. What happens to the accused is different. The truth is different. And in the whole thing, what it's beautiful, thing is about underlying thing of love for each other that runs the book.
True. And speaking of love, I would like to, as a reader who loves to read fiction, I'm always amazed by writers who carry their dear and near ones in their book, not around the book, in their book. So when I think of writers like a writer like Charles Lamb, often spoke about his sister. Even when he's talking about something else, there's at least a passing reference to his sister because he always felt that that's all she's all he has in his life ever, would understand. So when I think about this book and when I look at you, I know that this Adarsh has an Anju and Jacob Taragan Chako has.
Yes, Jacob has Annie
Yes.
like Adarsh Ranju, and I suppose that's what makes me complete, and that's
Mhm.
what makes we all need someone to complete us.
Yeah.
We need an alter ego who can tell us what we are on our face without hurting you. And even if you're hurt, they will tell
Mhm.
you, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And that is, we all need that. I was lucky. I am lucky. Adarsh is lucky. And
Absolutely.
it need not be the wife. Need not be a lover. It just, it should be a person who can tell without fear or for favor what is
Mhm.
right and wrong, what he or she thinks is right and wrong. I've been
Mhm.
lucky. I've been lucky.
And someone who knows how to handle you the right way,
Yes.
right? I mean, because when I look
Yes.
at the case of Adarsh, you have an Anju, the wife, who is soft at times when she knows that that's the way to help him. Say, maybe making a cup of tea that would rejuvenate Adarsh. But sometimes when Adarsh is feeling so low, Anju just becomes this sort of a dominant figure saying, like, you know what, just do it, just do it. No, you can do it. Why are you being so low? Just get up and start living. And which is amazing, to see real people being described so realistically. I mean, wonderful.
Actually, when we write, the two ways of writing, the two way. One is to remain detached and being, preachy. One
Mhm.
is to be part of the script and be rolling around in the mud, in the same mud that the other characters are there. That makes it more realistic. And if you see all my writings, all my books, all my articles, I don't. I'm not only part of the narrative. Only then you feel, the pull, the push, the feel. My own book, when I read again, I
Yeah.
go through the same emotions every time.
Mhm.
There has been somebody who rang up and read that paragraph in the book and cried. Uh, then few people have rung up and told me, I have not slept the night because I started in the evening. I couldn't keep the book down. So one of the comment I got, personal comment was, it is unput downable. Uh, Very encouraging because the point when I asked them, they say, I either was Adarsh or I was Anju, or
Mhm.
I was Lakshman, or I was Vijender. So at every part of the thing, the reader, starts becoming part of the script. That is what makes the book, I suppose, dear to people who read it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I haven't marketed it, so that's end of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, even if you don't market it, this would find its audience because, and as some of your like dear readers said, it is unput downable. I would say because it is very real for two reasons. One, the setting is so real, which we'll come back to in a minute. We have had conversations about this, how the courtroom drama and everything is so different from the movie scenes that we know of, which we'll come back to that. But before that, I feel that you have real characters and real events, keep aside every other background there. What's happening in this world, very unfortunate, is that it's very easy to cast aspersions on people, to say, oh, just attack on someone's personal life or to attack on someone's character. That's the easiest way to to downplay someone. So a character like Sunita or the wife of Lakshman and wife of Vijayendra, they all go through something similar. So when you stood for women who were underrepresented, or stood for women who were often mistreated by the society, either through actions or through narratives, I mean, it was. I have to say, I am grateful to you as a reader and as a woman to see an author stand for, or to see a male voice stand for women who are mistreated. It's
Actually, Krishna, this characterization portrayal of women as soft, I may not agree, but they
mm,
are easy targets because the society, don't like their women to be tarnished. So if somebody is casting aspersions on their women, it
mm,
becomes easy target. But today it's equal for everybody. But the
mm,
point is whether for man or woman, when someone can stand, especially in the age of social media, when anonymity gives you the freedom to do anything you want with anybody, uh, it's unfair. But to stand up where it matters,
true,
it's important. It's important for man or woman to stand up. You need someone.
true,
So I
absolutely.
thought, again coming back, uh, the case of Colonel Adarsh, when nobody stood for him, he also didn't stand for himself. So this is a chance for him to redeem his lost image of himself. So I suppose I was only painting that picture.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful because and that takes me to the other side, which we just mentioned, which is the real court life and the reels, the ones that you see in movies. It's plain. In reality, these proceedings are plain but very very human, unlike the ones that you see where we have spoken about this, where actors or characters come in and just bash out, like popular lines.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. That only happens for the lead actor in a movie. In real life, the leader, the hero can do anything, but in actual courts,
Mhm.
it's life and death. Every word spoken has many meanings and many interpretations. Uh, it is extremely painful for someone to be standing there in the witness box,
Mm.
and it is. But unlike civil courts, army courts are very dignified, and you don't have abusers, or you don't have the judge will hear you out. When you're going away, he'll say, "Stop it." It's very dignified. You
Yeah.
cannot break the. There's a protocol in the army court. I have not been to civil court, so but since I see on nowadays, it is very different.
Yeah.
Army, once the proceeding starts, it
Yeah.
will roll and only stop when it ends.
Yeah. And you have to fight claims with truths and proofs with words. And as you rightly said, every word that you utter matters. Like
Yes,
every word, it is powerful enough to
yes,
save lives or to destroy lives. I mean,
yes.
yes, and I have to say this, when I was reading the book, when the court scene began, that's when I was reading faster. So I remember letting you know, I was constantly updating you on my thoughts on the books, right? So at the beginning it was just slowly building the character, where Adarsh comes from, as a like his personality and everything, and what the story is. And then suddenly there's a shift to the courtroom drama, where it's not drama. I wouldn't call it drama. It's just courtroom proceedings where you're just fighting and fighting. And I was rooting for some characters, thinking, Adarsh, do it well. Yes. And Adarsh is doing it. So it became a lot more interactive when I interacted with the characters from the courtroom scene onwards.
That
And
is what makes the right me as a person, as an author, feel happy when the reader starts rooting for a character.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe the way the author is rooting or against, but when you have the reader taking sides and going for it, then the
Mhm.
author becomes, enriched. I feel very happy. Thank you for saying this because it makes me feel good. Like
But
many people who read
thank you.
have told me the same thing.
Yeah, thank you. Because also, I'm always in for learning new words, learning new expressions. So reading your book was interesting in that way, because I came across a lot of terms which I didn't know. Maybe I heard them before, didn't really understand the gravity of those words. Maybe a word like mens rea, and I hope I'm pronouncing the word right. And actus rea. Have I said it
Yes,
right?
yes,
The difference
yes,
between mens rea and these are all, I wouldn't say legal. Yeah, could be legal terms, could be related to truths as well in a larger scheme,
yes, yes,
and a lot of words related to military and that life. And it was really a learning experience for me as well. So thank you for a lot of things, for the words, for the characters, for standing up for them, you know. Because I know, when as a reader, I don't have to be a writer for that. As a reader, you come across books where the writer comes up with wonderful characters, only to destroy them at the end of it. And you feel bad for those characters. You will be like, why did you have to do this? And then you have a book like The Second Bullet, where you know the characters are given the right endings or climaxes which they deserve. At least in those stories, they deserve that. So thank you for that. I mean, Lakshman thanks you, Vijayendra thanks you, Sunita definitely thanks you. I mean, thank you
yes,
so much for that.
yes.
And that brings me to the concluding part of our short and sweet interview, which is, I believe that for a writer to become this sort of a, not a versatile, prolific writer, one has to be a very good reader as well. So, what is your process like? First, can you just tell us about your writing process? How does your day go as a writer? And where does this reading come from?
Uh, Actually, that is actually you're looking into my insights. I read not only words, I not only read books, I read people. I
Mhm.
read events. I watch things unfold. And I see, okay, this is why he may be. See, behind every word said by a person, there is a why. So nobody says nothing for no reason. There is a why behind every word and every action of ours. And the how it is done, the how it is said, also stem from the emotions inside. Now,
Mm.
for me, I conceive an idea through something I've seen. So once I've conceived that idea, then it incubates within and takes form. So once the idea is conceived, I have to labor. Whether it
Yeah.
is stillborn or well-born is a matter of chance.
Yeah.
This book was a well-born conception. There are many articles which are conceived, but I've stillborn. I don't publish it. Reading, yes, I read a lot of things, but I intake emotions more than philosophy because at the base level, I'm a very emotional human being. So I resonate with emotions more. You would have seen in the book, there's a lot of emotions.
Yes.
Uh, Otherwise, reading is by observing. I read the nature, I read people, I can read people from their faces, and I understand what they see. Most of our meanings are conveyed through non-verbal terms. We
True.
don't have to speak. So many unsaid words are more powerful than the large number of words spoken. So for me, once an idea is gone in here, I conceive. Then I keep thinking over it. It takes the form of a narrative. Then it becomes a story. That's how it becomes
I
an
want to say
article.
this. You are a walking, breathing aphorism. It's like you speak in quotes. If you get what I mean, because
Yeah.
uh, I've thanked you for this a number of times in the past too. I remember the first time I met you, which again was a decade ago, at a reunion, your college reunion. I was also there for some other reason, and I remember you saying something along the lines to the people about your childhood, to your friends. You were saying something along the lines. There was a there was a security in anonymity when you
Yes.
came to a college life, when you came from a different school life to college life. You said a line which was a very simple line to a lot of people, but you know, 10 years later, to this day, I remember it. The security of anonymity. Every time I go to a new place where I am an anonymous person, or like I'm a new person, rather than worrying about it, or rather than freaking out about the fact that, oh, I'm new to this place, I find a security. I realize that I can do a lot of things. There's a lot of power in this anonymity. So this is
Yes.
one of the aphorisms, or like one of the quotes that you have made as a passing statement, but never, I mean, never left me.
I believe in it because see, actually, problem with all of us is we think we are superhumans and we should be famous, we should be known. But the beauty of being anonymous, one among the millions,
Yeah.
it gives you the freedom, the canvas to draw anything that you want. It gives you the freedom to enjoy all those things you want. For example, I go to a wayside tea shop. Nobody knows
Mm.
me. Nobody knows me. So I just sit there and I ask for a cup of tea. I like this 1 meter tea. So I go and have it. So recently, what happened? This anonymity, security in anonymity was punctured. I
Oh,
went somewhere and I was having chai, the wayside. I love this wayside tea. So he said, I've seen you somewhere. So I said, no, I'm coming. No, 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 I've seen you somewhere. So I started becoming insecure inside. They said, no,
oh
no,
dear.
I saw you on TV. I said, yes, yes. So I actually had my tea fast and got out. So not that I'm famous, but I love to be a normal man among the masses. So
Yeah,
it actually allows me to watch people more closely.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I was about to add. Only then can you be your silent observer, you know?
Yes, yes, yes,
Like you'll peek
yes,
into lives. Mm.
yes,
It's
yes, yes,
interesting. I mean, great.
yes.
So I would like to know one last question before we end this. Um, as a reader, not as a writer, as a reader, do you have a favorite book or a book that you would like to suggest me as a beginner myself? I'm a beginner at reading. Is there a book that stayed with you?
See, reading is like eating.
Mm,
You may like idli, you may like chow mein, you may like paratha, you may like aloo paratha, you may like continental. So I possibly can't suggest. But you need nourishment, whatever you eat. One book that I hold very close to myself is a book written by Jawaharlal Nehru, The Discovery of India. It's a drab subject on the
mm,
history of India. It includes geography and history of India. Imagine, I don't think we have any good teachers who make it look interesting. But this book brings in so much of emotions, a kaleidoscope of the country in your hand. A thick book. I didn't keep it down. I kept reading it. I kept reading it. So I loved reading that book. I have a copy.
mhm.
You must read this book if you can.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, the moment someone says that, drab topic like history is spoken well or is written well, and you're, I would not fanboying, what's the right word? You are like in love with the book. So the
Yes,
language is different when
yes.
you talk about a book like Discovery of India. So if that's the case, definitely going to buy it for sure, for sure. Now, and yes, we are at the end of the segment. One last question, as we always have to do this. What are your future plans? I know you're going to write more, but anything in mind? Any
I'm
plans?
currently writing a book.
Hmm.
My next article should be published in 3 4 days time. But I am the by June next the next
Mm.
book will be out. Then we will see. Now I am full. I am laboring on this book. I am pregnant with this book.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You
I have
you are a as I said a couple of minutes ago. You are a poet. You speak in metaphors. You speak in allusions, which I mean I am in love with that language. So if this weren't an interview, I would be just looking at it like, hmm. It's very sweet of you to speak this way. So yeah, that's that. We have
thank you,
finally.
thank you very much, Krishna. It's been a pleasure talking to you as always.
Yeah,
And thanks for that. We will get together again once it passed.
absolutely. Yes, yes. And I'll
Thank
read more of your books. I've been always a fan of your poetry. So
Thank
I
you.
wish you all the best. I wish you all the health and joy to be able to do that, you know.
Thank you very much and wish you the same.
Thank you so much. It's been a
Bye. Bye.
pleasure.
Bye. Bye.
Have a great day there,
Same there.
and a belated happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you so much, Jacob. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.